The Boston Bruins, known for their strong culture and consistent brand of hockey. The Bruins have stumbled out of the gate this season, leaving fans scratching their heads and wondering what's gone wrong. The team is far improved from their 2023-24 roster, yet somehow they're heading in the wrong direction. The Bruins' record is certainly not reflective of the high standards they've set for themselves as an organization, as the team hovers in the land of mediocrity to start the season. So what has changed, and who's the problem? The team's struggles can be attributed to a confluence of factors, including poor management, inconsistent coaching, and lack of production throughout the lineup. To try and fix this problem, the Bruins announced that Jim Montgomery, their head coach, has been relieved of his duties, a largely polarizing decision that has split the entire fan base. So today, with the recent changes made by the organization, let's talk about the Boston Bruins, to see what's really going on behind this downturn and whether or not this is a lost season for one of the NHL's most consistent franchises. The start of the season has been anything but pleasant for the Boston Bruins. They're underperforming in almost every category and they can't seem to get out of their own way. Well, management finally decided to make some changes, so let's break this down and figure out if this was the right decision for them to make. General Manager Don Sweeney revealed that the Bruins would be relieving their head coach Jim Montgomery of his duties. Quote, "Today I have made a very difficult decision with regards to a coaching change. Jim Montgomery is a very good NHL coach and an even better person. He has made a positive impact throughout the Bruins organization, and I am both grateful and appreciative of the opportunity to work with him and learn from him. Jim's accomplishments as the Bruins head coach include a record-breaking and historic season, and I want to thank his entire family for their success and wish them all happiness with their next opportunity. Our team's inconsistency and performance in the first 20 games of the 2024-25 season has been concerning and below how the Bruins want to reward our fans. I believe Joe Sacco has the coaching experience to bring the players and the team back to focusing on the consistent effort the NHL requires to have success. We will continue to work to make necessary adjustments to meet the standard and performance our supportive fans expect." End quote. Montgomery's coaching record with Boston concludes at 120, 41, and 23, with a winning percentage of .715%. The second time where the Bruins have released a head coach with a winning record who had also won the Jack Adams Award. The Bruins under Montgomery have surely struggled this season, and a quote that I like for this exact situation is "Bad things happen to good people." Montgomery is an excellent coach, but clearly there is something off with this team, and their numbers are not up to standard. This could be an effort issue, a culture issue, or simply just a problem with X's and O's. But no matter what way you look at it, Montgomery is responsible in some way. Boston will be replacing Montgomery with interim head coach Joe Sacco, who has been an associate with the team for the past 7 years. He previously was a head coach for the Colorado Avalanche, having a 4-year stint with that organization. But beyond the coaching, let's talk about this team and some of the things that will need to change under this new head coach if they want to turn their season around. Special teams has been a major issue for this team. The power play, historically a strength for Boston, has been remarkably unproductive this season. Missed opportunities and lack of cohesion has hindered their ability to capitalize on the man advantage. Similarly, their penalty kill has been a source of vulnerability. The team has struggled to effectively defend against opposing power plays, leading to costly goals that have proven decisive in games. This inefficiency on both the power play and penalty kill has significantly hampered their ability to control the flow of games and also compete for victories. At the time of Montgomery's firing, Boston has the worst power play in the NHL, with a success rate of 11.7%. Their penalty kill is also poorly rated, ranking 25th in the NHL with a kill percentage of 75.6%, which again is not a recipe for success. Another prominent element contributing to the Bruins' struggles is their less than stellar performance from star players. The Bruins stars have not stepped up so far this season, and oftentimes it's the team's role players and depth scorers who have been more productive for this team. David Pastrnak is a player that needs to be talked about. He's usually a consistent scoring threat for Boston, but has not quite reached the heights of his previous seasons. And in fact, in his last game against the Columbus Blue Jackets, he didn't register a single shot despite playing substantial minutes and participating in 6 different power play opportunities. While still a highly skilled player, his scoring output has been somewhat muted, and his ability to create scoring opportunities for himself and his line mates has been less noticeable than it has been in past years. The team's struggles have been also evident in their overall play. They have at times appeared disjointed, with a lack of cohesive effort across all four lines. The consistent effort and crisp passing that has been a hallmark for the Bruins' identity has been somewhat absent during this challenging start. Lack of special team success, star players not playing up to potential, and of course coaching have all been contributing factors to the demise of the Bruins this year. But something that's often overlooked is how management built out this roster, and some of the missteps that they've taken along the way. So let's break down some of the off-season moves and a few moves made in prior years to show you guys how this team has not been put in the best position to succeed. This offseason, the Bruins had two areas that desperately needed to be addressed: top-line center and a top-six winger. Boston addressed the top-line center position by bringing in Elias Lindholm, which can be debatable by fans based on his play so far, but overall, he is a legitimate center in this league and should be able to pick up his play eventually. But unfortunately, they did the opposite with their other need, letting go of top-six winger in Jake DeBrusk and opting to sign Nikita Zadorov instead of finding a suitable replacement for their top six. I think at this point, management deserves a bit of scrutiny for some of the flaws we're seeing in this roster. There are a few notable moments in Don Sweeney's tenure as GM that just leave you scratching your head. First is obviously the 2015 NHL draft, which I consider to be his biggest blunder, as well as most, taking three players in Jake DeBrusk, Zach Senyshyn, and Jacob Zaboro, who are all no longer with the team. Meanwhile, players like Matt Barzal, Sebastian Aho, Kirill Kaprizov, and many others were taken after these three players, all of which could have helped this Bruins team stay relevant and structured in these uncertain times. The second is missing out on free agents and trading pieces too early. Sweeney's inability to sign players who were brought in via trades like Tyler Bertuzzi, a trade in which the Bruins sent away a first-round pick, and also trading Taylor Hall for practically nothing, are two forward-based events that should sit uneasily in the minds of Boston fans, especially when looking at this current roster and their need for a top-six player. The last is the mishandling of the Swayman contract. Now, Swayman has not been playing well to start the year despite signing his new contract and being handed the starting role. Right now, he has a save percentage of .884 and a goals against average of 3.47. Now, let's bring this back to management. The contract dispute stretched across the entire offseason and left a sour taste in both Swayman's camp and Bruins management. Ultimately, it cost Swayman all of training camp and preseason, both of which are crucial to a player's ability to be on the same page as the rest of their team, and to get their reps in before the start of the season. This is likely why we're seeing Swayman start off the year so slowly, and unfortunately there have been reports about this contract dispute now causing a divide within the locker room between Swayman and the other players on this team. As a whole, I think we need to look at Don Sweeney and definitely question some of the decisions that he's made. Obviously, he has kept this Bruins team relevant, but without any championship success, what's the point of all of this relevancy? You can win all of these playoff series and be in the mix of things every year, but if you're not going all the way and getting to that final stage, what's the ultimate point of this? It's important to note that the Bruins still have a lot of talent and potential with this roster. While Sweeney has taken a lot of missteps with this team, he's also done a lot of good despite not being able to bring a championship back to Boston as their GM. But when it comes to the Jim Montgomery firing, I don't exactly agree with it, but I understand that that's just how things work in the NHL. Head coaches are usually the scapegoat, and when a team starts off poorly, they're the first ones to go. We don't typically see a president or a GM get fired in the middle of the year. It just doesn't happen. Now, whether you're a fan of Sweeney or Neely, their entire tenure with the Boston Bruins is going to be dependent on the crucial success of Joe Sacco as the next head coach. If the Bruins fail under two head coaches in the same year, then you will likely see a change in management. But if they succeed, then you could probably guarantee that Sweeney and Neely will continue to be a part of this organization. The Boston Bruins have a history of overcoming adversity. They have the experience, the talent, and the determination to turn their season around. While the first quarter of this season hasn't been ideal, there's still plenty of hockey left to play, and the hope remains that the Bruins can rediscover their identity and return to their winning ways. This team needs to reassert their status as a perennial contender in the NHL, But the question is, will this new coaching change be the spark that this team needs? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you agree with the Bruins on this decision in firing their head coach Jim Montgomery? Or do you think that this was a bad mistake by the team and it's just a mask for an underlying issue that just hasn't been revealed yet? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. As always, before I sign off, about 90% of the people who are watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. I have a sub goal of around 20,000 subscribers that I would like to reach by the end of the year, and I'm very confident that we can all do it. So if you guys want to continue supporting me and the content that I create, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel now. Thank you guys as always for watching the videos. I will see you guys in the next one.